Venu Srinivasan is chairman at TVS Motor Limited. He's joining us on a phone line from Chennai. Mr. Srinivasan, thanks very much for your time. Good afternoon, sir. Prashant here. So the FM has announced that the lower excise rates will stay for another 6 months. Your first thoughts, sir?
Pardon?
What do you make of it? Were you expecting it? Had it not been done, obviously, I'm assuming excise rates would have reverted back to the pre-cut levels. So what is your reaction to what has been done?
We were positive that government would be sympathetic to the plight of the auto industry. In the case of trucks, we have serious negative growth. In the case of cars, we have mildly negative growth. There's only two-wheelers that are doing well. And if the government had not done this, it would have acted as a serious dampener to the automotive industry.
Do you, so is it kind of possible to quantify the impact that these cuts have had so far?
Well, in a negative environment where growth has come down to 4.5% or so of GDP, right now you cannot see what the positive impact is. But had it not been done, you probably would have seen trucks further go down and cars have more double-digit negative growth. So it certainly has, I think, arrested the decline.
Right. You know, I remember talking to Rajiv Bajaj on this, and he said, well, when this was announced in February earlier this year, and his view was that, well, it could sort of spur buyers for a while. It could help some sales initially, but then it doesn't really matter. It just goes back to the basics, you know, purchasing power, job security, the general mood, economy, sentiment, and things like that. A lower excise duty will not really spur demand.
I think for two-wheelers, this is probably true because ticket items are small. But as you go to cars and particularly to trucks, I think it has significant impact. I think if you ask the truck maker the same question, you'd get a very different answer. And as a past president of the Automotive Association, my view would have been the auto industry as a whole, that this is a welcome step, that till a revival takes place, they've continued this SOP.
You know, many in the industry have asked for some sort of fiscal stimuli in the budget. Mr. Srinivasan, what is your view? You think it's required?
See, my view is that already the government has been left behind with last 3 years significantly negative budgets in terms of fiscal deficit. Now, if they continued, this is already a SOP. I'm not sure how much more leeway the government will have to give fiscal stimulus till they set right the fiscal deficit. So it's a difficult situation, and I think government has a very difficult balancing act in front of them.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Since we are on the subject, it's what do you think, very broadly, not getting into specifics, right? I mean, you can't expect revenues to increase substantially. There is fear of a pretty bad monsoon season this time. Can you cut subsidies drastically? I don't know. Disinvestments can happen. Capital markets are looking up. Broadly, what's your view? What will we see in the budget?
I think given the railway budget, the government should have a very graduated steps of reducing deficits across, except those which are targeted to people below the poverty line. I think any deficits caused by subsidies to people above poverty line should be calibrated manner, slowly reduced, so that the fiscal deficit can come under control.
Okay. And so which means, I mean, LPG, I mean, that's a large component.
Sure
that can be, saying that can be tackled gradually, right?
Well, all I would say is that we've had a free lunch for too long, I think for 5-6 years, and that kind of free lunch is not affordable by the country. So as the government has said, some amount of bitter medicine may have to be taken in the first 1 or 2 years till the economy revives, and then we get the benefit of that.
Right. Just to come back specifically to TVS Motor, sir, you would have noticed the share price has done phenomenally well recently, along with the market. It's done better than peers. To what would you attribute this to? And I mean, broadly, how do you think about growth at TVS going forward?
I think you have to ask some analyst that question. I'm not taking any questions on TVS Motor.
Okay. Thanks very much, Mr. Srinivasan. Appreciate it.